Hello, you are listening to the informational webinar for the Social Venture Partners SVP Fast Pitch Event 2016. This is relevant to potential nonprofit applicants who are interested in learning more about the process, what it takes to be part of SVP Fast Pitch, as well as the benefits in participating in the program. Our goals today are for you to learn more about Social Venture Partners, SVP, learn about the SVP Fast Pitch program and what it takes to get the most out of the experience, discuss the application and key dates, and then provide contact info to answer any additional questions you might have. Overall, I hope you leave this webinar with enough information to decide if Fast Pitch is a good fit for your organization. My name is Bree Cahill, and I am the Executive Director of SVP Sacramento. I'm excited to read some of your applications this year and for an incredible SVP Fast Pitch 2016. Our 2015 event resulted in more than $140,000 in follow-on funding for our 12 participants, in addition to the $25,000 we gave out at the event. And we are so excited to continue that ripple effect in 2016 with a whole new cohort of nonprofits. So SVP is a global organization. We have 40 chapters worldwide with more than 3,500 engaged philanthropists in our network. In fact, we are the world's largest network of engaged donors. Since 1997, we've total globally invested more than $55 million in nonprofits worldwide. SVP Sacramento, we have local funding and local focus. So all of our funding is sourced locally and provided to local nonprofits. We provide unrestricted funding plus capacity building support. In our traditional model, we invest in our investees versus grantees. Investees because we provide 3 to 5 years of unrestricted funding, and alongside that funding, we also complete capacity building projects that support the nonprofit's growth and expansion. We were founded in 2008 and have an exclusive focus on improving education. Now, that being said, for Fast Pitch, we have a much broader understanding of what education means. So don't feel like if you're not a K-12 program, you don't qualify. We'll talk about qualifications in a minute. But we do want an educational component to your programming. In Sacramento, we've invested more than $1.2 million in local nonprofits since 2008. And again, this is our traditional funding model, which is a bit different than our Fast Pitch event. So our programs, our long-term capacity building investments, our investees. So that's the core of what we do. That's our 3 to 5 years of funding and exclusively focused on education. We have SVP Fast Pitch, our annual signature event, headed into our second year in 2016. Fast Pitch is a nonprofit pitch event similar to for-profit startup pitch events in the region, but the first exclusively nonprofit Fast Pitch event. And Fast Pitch is really about getting nonprofits out in front of the community, telling their message in a clear and succinct way, and then creating a ripple effect of follow-on funding, network, building relationships for the nonprofits that participate. We also have our SVP Kids program. That's an engaged service learning program for 8 to 14-year-olds who are either children of our partners or children that work with the nonprofits that we support. So what is Fast Pitch exactly? First off, it's a competitive process. So we will select 12 to 15 semifinalist nonprofits. Those 12 to 15 semifinalists will participate in a 3-month training, coaching, and mentorship program for the nonprofit leader who will be pitching. We do ask that you send a second with you to each session. So consider, one, who will be pitching in your organization. In 2015, most of our pitch contestants were the executive directors, even if the development director was the one who applied. Now, that being said, it's up to you and your organization who makes most sense to be on that stage, who's the face of funding in your community for your organization, and who's the best prospective pitch contestant. Also, who's it going to benefit most? Who's out in the world using that 3-minute pitch beyond Fast Pitch? So who's going to get the most experience and then be able to use it most effectively? So it's a 3-month process. You're paired with 2 coaches. In addition to being paired with the 2 coaches, you participate in 4 total group sessions. So about 15 hours of structured group sessions from December through February 2016. And so through that process, you can expect to spend a lot of time on your pitch, as well as time in between working on refining your pitch and working with your 2 coaches on that pitch. So we have a focus on innovation and impact. So consider as you complete the letter of intent, which is a pretty quick application, and then if you're selected to complete a final application, consider what quantitative results do you have to show. Additionally, what anecdotal stories can you tell us about the impact you're having in the region? And how are you doing it differently than other nonprofits that may serve a similar subset or population? So what we're looking for, again, you must have an educational component to your programming. That doesn't mean the core of your programming has to be education focused, but it does mean you have to have something within your programming that either educates students, adults, the community, has a workforce development element, so pretty open to what that educational component is, but you do need to be able to address and explain an educational component within your programming. Additionally, you either must have your headquarters reside in, or you must serve in one or more of the following counties: Yolo, Yuba, Sacramento, El Dorado, Sutter, or Placer. So do make sure that you meet those qualifications. You also must be able to attend all 4 of the sessions, and do plan, again, to have a second from your organization or a volunteer from your organization join you. Because those are mandatory, if you're unable to attend, we need to have a second who's able to join us and give your pitch at each of those sessions. So your final product, regardless of if you receive funding at the final event, is your refined 3-minute elevator pitch, which you take with you, of course, and own. We'll also be filming and giving out to each participant, each semifinalist, a 30 to 60-second video filmed in a professional studio with a professional videographer, and that goes with you and you own it, and it's yours to keep. So elements of the Fast Pitch program. We have our pitch crafting workshop, December 7th, 2015. That's a 3-hour workshop where you get down your first draft of your pitch. That's going to evolve over time, but you obviously need to have something to pitch at our first session. Then we have 3 4-hour group coaching sessions, so 12-hour total of group coaching sessions from January to February 2016. One of those sessions is held in Folsom, and 2 are held at the Sleep Train Arena. If you'd like to view kind of what some of those pitches look like, you should see a link in the bottom of this YouTube video that you can go to our media page. That shows some of the press we got around Fast Pitch 2015, as well as the videos and content from all of our participating nonprofits. You'll also receive 2-on-1 coaching. So in between each of those 4-hour sessions, there are 2 weeks. You are expected to meet with your 2 coaches for at least an hour in between that time, to go over what you need to change, what stays the same, what's powerful within your pitch, and what can be refined. Then we have our final event in March 2015. We do not have a date set for that yet, but it will be in downtown Sacramento. So why participate? It's a lot of time for your organization, but there are also quite a few benefits from participating. I'll start by reminding you that more than $140,000 in follow-on funding came in to our 12 participants since the 2015 event. So that's about 6 months ago. And since then, again, more than $140,000 in follow-on funding. And that's in addition to the $25,000 in funding we gave out at the final event. It's a chance for you to expand your network, both nonprofit and prospective funders. So we have 30 coaches in the room that are all qualified individual funders, as well as the 15 nonprofits that will be part of your 2016 cohort. 80% of the nonprofits in our 2015 event formed some sort of meaningful collaboration or service overlap with another nonprofit in the group as a result of meeting them through Fast Pitch. So it's a chance for you to expand your capacity, both through networking with for-profit individuals and with other nonprofits that you might not meet in your day-to-day work. Also a chance for you to spread the word about the work you do. Whether or not you're one of the 10 finalists who pitches at the March event, if you are a semifinalist, you will have a space for a trade show style booth at our final event, a chance to interact with the audience, as well as blasts and outreach and material, and send out of material via the SVP channel of funders and individuals. So a great chance to spread the word about what you do. It's also a chance for you to package your message in a succinct and powerful way. You're working with professionals who create and craft pitches for a living. So this is your chance to do that for your nonprofit. And it's a pitch that most of our nonprofits have used again since Fast Pitch, whether that's in a prospective funder meeting, outreach to other nonprofits, outreach to secure volunteers. So our nonprofits have used these pitches again and again. A couple of examples from our 2015 event. So to the left, you see Bill Blake of B Street Theater. Bill Blake and B Street did not win any of our awards at the 2015 event. But immediately that night in the room, one of the funders that was in the audience stood up and agreed to fund a brand new van for the B Street Theater Children's Program. So that happened that night. Bill was saying they needed a new van for their program. It was something that was lacking. That was part of his pitch. That was his ask. And somebody stood up and said, fine, I can fund that, and purchased a van for B Street Theater. So great success story. And again, he didn't win any of the awards, but he got what B Street really needed out of the process. Above, we have Doug Newton of A Touch of Understanding. A Touch of Understanding also did not win any awards from the event, but did receive more than $15,000 in follow-on funding from funders in the room. So another story of, it's just reaching and touching the right person in the room. We help get the right funders in the room for the event, and then it's your job to just put your best foot forward and secure that funding. So here's a picture above of our winners from the 2015 event. We had 6 awards totaling more than $25,000, and 5 of our 10 finalists won those awards. And then to your right here, Simeon Gant of Green Tech. Simeon did win one of our awards at the event. In addition to that, he formed a meaningful collaboration with 2 of the nonprofits in the room. So an example of not necessarily follow-on funding, but the follow-on ripple effect from that event. So considerations before you decide to apply. One, I will say the letter of intent is a quick application, but our final application is pretty extensive. So do consider before you apply, are you ready for this process? Can you dedicate 25 to 40 hours on this process from October to March? And that October date is just in that you will have to fill out the final application, which will take at least an hour of your time. So do you have the time to dedicate? Not only that, but do you have a second person on your staff or in your volunteer base who's able to join you at these events and be part of the process? Are you receptive to group and mentor feedback? Are you ready to hear changes that need to be made to your pitch? The nonprofits that went the furthest, so we had 2 who were final winners, who had kind of the worst pitches of the first session and kind of came from behind and stole it by the third session because they really put the time in. And in fact, one of those 2 nonprofits reported spending 80 hours across the 3 months on refining their pitch and working on it. So consider, do you have time in between those sessions, not only time, but desire to get better at your 3-minute pitch? And is this something that'll be a valuable tool for you beyond just fast pitch? Again, are you ready and eager to grow? Can you put your best foot forward? You're going to be in a room of 30 prospective individual funders. You want every time that you step up on that stage to show improvement, and you want to show that you're receptive to feedback, because these could be funders who step up for your organization. We had over 50% of our nonprofits secure a new board member or highly skilled volunteer from this event. So really a variety of ways that you can benefit from participating if you're putting your best foot forward. Is fast pitch for you? Well, it might not be for you if your organization is in crisis. Again, this is your chance to put your best foot forward. Last year we had 13 semifinalists. 1 dropped out after our first coaching session, and imagine how that looks to the coaches and other nonprofits in the room. So do consider, do I have the time? Do I have the staff? And am I ready to commit to this? If you rely on your great personality and charisma, you might be a natural pitch contestant, but you aren't ready to make changes or hear input on your pitch. This will be a tough process for you. And also, if you're okay with the status quo, if you already have all your funding channels set, you're not looking for new interesting ways to network with nonprofits and funders, maybe you don't have the time or the capacity, or maybe you just aren't ready really to step outside the box. This is a very different type of funding opportunity. A lot of time goes in, and you may or may not get funding at the other end. Now, that being said, 9 of our 12 semifinalists have reported receiving follow-on funding since the event, totaling more than $140,000. So pretty good odds that you'll get some funding out of this process, but we don't guarantee it. And not all organizations do get funding. 100% of our nonprofit participants from 2015 would participate again. So consider, yes, everyone would participate again, but it is a lot of time. So application and key dates, these are also listed on the Sacramento Region Community Foundation website next to the letter of intent information. Your letter of intent is due Friday, October 2nd at 4 p.m. We will sort through the SVP Fast Pitch Committee will sort through and select who should apply for our full application. Those invitations or regrets are sent out by the 10th of October, 10th of October. So Friday, October 2nd is when the application is due. And then October 10th is when we invite those to apply on their full application. And the full application, you have 10 days to complete it. Should take about 45 minutes to an hour to complete. And it's all pretty typical questions that you would receive in a traditional application. So that application is open from 10:10 until 10:20 at 5 p.m. Then you'll hear back in a week who our semifinalists are. Again, we're selecting 12 to 15 semifinalists for Fast Pitch 2016. You need to save the dates. So once you apply for the letter of intent, please save the following 4 dates. December 7th from 3 to 6 p.m. That's our mandatory pitch crafting session in Folsom. January 12th from 5 to 9 p.m. That's our mandatory pitch session also in Folsom. January 26th, 5 to 9 p.m. That is our mandatory pitch session at the Sleep Train Arena. And February 16th, 5 to 9 p.m., our mandatory pitch session at the Sleep Train Arena. In late February, after February 16th, we will select 8 to 10 who will move forward and be our final presenters at the Fast Pitch event. Again, all semifinalists attend the event, all get trade show space and a chance to interact with our audience, but 8 to 10 pitch at the final event. And then in March 2016, we have our final evening Fast Pitch event. That date will be released hopefully by the time we open our final application in October. If you have additional questions that were not answered by this webinar, you can send an email to admin@svpsacramento.org. Again, that's admin@svpsacramento.org. Please make sure you allow at least 2 days for a response. And again, any questions you have about whether or not you're fit. Most organizations, what they get tripped up on is whether or not they have an educational component to the programming. If you do something that teaches somebody either about the cause that you support or in a more direct hands-on way, then that counts as an educational component. So that requirement really shouldn't knock out too many potential applicants. You do have to have your 501c3 status or have a designated financial advisor with the 501c3 status. But other than that, and as long as you serve in the 6-county region, have an educational component, and have your own 501c3 or a dedicated fiscal agent with 501c3 status, you are eligible to apply. So our webinar goals today, one is for you to learn about social venture partners. Hopefully you have a good overview of what we do. Learn about the Fast Pitch program and what it takes to get the most out of the experience. Again, if you have more questions about that, you can email admin@svpsacramento.org. To discuss the application and key dates. Those are also listed on the Sac Region Community Foundation website. And you should save them now. So if you apply, please save those mandatory dates as you will need to attend all 4 of the sessions. And then to answer your questions by providing contact info in case you had any follow-up questions. Overall, I hope this provided enough information so you could decide if Fast Pitch is a good fit for you. Again, 100% of 2015 participants rated it as a valuable experience and would participate all over again. So hopefully that indicates to you what a great opportunity Fast Pitch is. Thank you for participating. Hope to hear from you soon and look forward to reviewing those applications.